All right, so this week's interactive advanced concept is looking at copper oxide and what happens when we put some rusty pennies into some vinegar and salt solution. So I'll get our experiment going and then we'll talk about what's happening. Start with my vinegar. Make sure you can see what's going on. So my vinegar. Okay, cup of vinegar. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to dissolve this completely in the vinegar. We're waiting until our mixture turns completely clear again. And we have to add just a little bit more vinegar. All right, looks like we're pretty clear. So I have a group of rusty pennies. We can see they're pretty bad, so we should get some good results with this. So we're going to let the pennies sit in this mixture and get coated in it. And let's see what happens. So we can already see the pennies starting to clear up a bit. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell in there, but they're already getting cleaner. We're going to let them sit just for a little bit longer. Okay, so a couple of the pennies I'm going to set down on paper towel and we'll see what happens. And the rest I'm going to put in water to stop our reaction. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about why this happens. So basically what's happening here, first let's start with why the coppers are rusty. So the copper is bonding with the oxygen molecules in the air and it's making it into copper oxide, which is all the rust on the outside that we see. And this copper oxide will dissolve in a weak acid, which we have our vinegar, and a little bit of table salt. So theoretically, this should also work with lemon juice or orange juice or citrus, any kind of acid that will do that. So when the vinegar so with these other pennies that we have that I set out, so the reaction here, we can see the difference here. The one that I put in the water versus the one that I left out on the paper towel, one's a lot clearer than the other. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but when you put the penny in the water, it stops the reaction. But when you leave it out, because we've dissolved that copper oxide layer, it's easier for the copper then to join back with the oxygen in the air and rusting again. So this is basically what's happening with this. My pennies are nice and clean. After that, way better than they were looking. So thanks to that acid for dissolving the copper oxide on my pennies.